must sincerely appreciate everything that you're doing. You are
Thank you.
doing a great and mighty work that I really, really appreciate you for.
Thank
I
you.
I can't stop talking about the impact of, Grow with Rennie conference. Even I that couldn't attend, I sat with it all day here in Manchester, and I can say that it is such a great investment that you're putting into the life of every one of us in our 20s. And I'm so excited, and I just want to take this time to specially appreciate you.
Thank
Basically, thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to your husband as well for allowing you do this. Because so the major conversation around this motherhood and career is simply um hearing voices of people who have actually gone through this part, that are going through this part of balancing motherhood and career.
Mm.
Like I got married last year. Let me just say last year, and I had my baby last year as well. And I can tell you for a fact that it has been a roller coaster having to balance career and motherhood, and not to now talk of combining it with relocating to another continent in itself. And I've also had people ask me on my channel as well, oh, why are you doing it? Remember, and I'm like, don't even ask me. I'm not even the right person to ask. And then my husband came up with the idea of, you have questions like this, and so many other young married also have questions like this, and they don't even know how to go about it. How about you come up with content around having people who are actually balancing it, come talk to you guys about how to balance it. And I'm not even surprised, because even there's a part in titles that talks about learning from the older women. So I think that is just what the motherhood and career series is about. And looking at your portfolio in this motherhood journey, I must say that you are indeed a role model. I don't know
Mm.
how you did it, but I just want to be like you when I
For all
grow
that
up.
still doing it.
How you're doing it, looking at how far God has helped you. You celebrated your anniversary recently, and your kids and everything, and how you're doing it as well with your business and even purpose. It is really mind blowing that I can't just wrap my head around not having you on this series, because you really just need to talk to us about how you're doing it. So that is basically what the series is about. So
Amazing.
I'm just going to go ahead to start with the first question, and that just helps you to introduce yourself, and then we can just take it up from there. So the question says, tell us about your early days in marriage and how you both prepare for the transition, between being a family of two to family of three and then four.
Okay. Hi, my name is Morenike Molehin, and I'm the founder of Okantic. It's an interior design company that specializes both in residential and commercial spaces. I'm also the lead mentor at the Grow with Rainy. The Grow with Rainy is a mentorship um, platform that mentors young ladies in their 20s to maximize their life, right? So, going to the question, you know, how did we prepare and transition into being a family of two to three and to four? I would say first is both of us having to be on the same page.
So the discussion that you have before you get married is very crucial. So there are things that you need to discuss during your dating period, right? Discussing your future, so that it doesn't just come up as a surprise when you guys begin to have children. So instead of just always talking about, oh, what did you eat today? Did you sleep well last night? All right, you say your own. Like, talk about meaningful things, like meaningful conversation about your future. So I remember that we talked about our future, and then one thing that I'm grateful to God about with my husband is that he reads a lot. So he believes that when you've prayed about something, the next step is to get information, knowledge about something, right? And if we put in all our efforts in studying and trying to get certifications for our professional life, why can't we also invest that same energy when it comes to our marriage, our children, parenting, and just things that really matter the most, except family is not important to you. But if family is important to you, then you need to equip yourself with so much knowledge. You can't just go in blindly and just say, let's just go with vibes and whatever. You know the other one, vibes and whatever. Or let's just go, as we go, just run am anything that our eyes will collect. No, you need to be prepared. That's the reason why they have premarital counseling. It's just that we don't have parenting counseling, right? But you have to do the work and say to yourself, how can I do parenting? You won't get it. Obviously, like theory is different from practical. But at least there are certain things that when you're going through them, you know that you're not the only one that is going through it. Oh, that is a normal thing. As opposed to you begin to experience them and you just feel like you're in isolation. You're the only one who has their own life like this. I know how the devil is. He will now capitalize on that and be like, hey, let me make this girl or this couple feel like they are doing the wrong thing, right? And then before you know what's happening, you're discouraged. You're just like, I don't want to put in more effort. But if you've maybe read in a book, you've watched a YouTube channel like this one, and you know that okay, you know what, Morenike talked about something like this, that she went through when she was having her kids, and I'm going through that right now. Oh, so that means it's fine. I will scale this stage. Or let me learn what I can learn so that I don't have to repeat the same mistake. So equipping yourself is extremely important, and equipping yourself with your partner. So parenting is not just about the mother or only the father. It's two people. That's the reason why God brought man and woman. So we contribute our strengths, right? Leverage on our strengths. So when you're parenting a child, if a child is blessed, the child should get all the great things from the mother, all the nurturing from the mother, also the father as well. So the mother cannot do the job of a father, and the father cannot do the job of a mother. Yes, I understand that they are single moms, they are single fathers, they are, maybe even parents that maybe lost a spouse or whatever. All the people that decided that they just, now in this generation, that some people just say, I just want to have a child, I don't want to have a spouse. I'm not sure if that's the context of this, channel, because again, it's a Christian channel, and that's not well. But I'm just even saying, like, let's even just assume. However, whatever it is, make sure that you've tried to fill that gap, right? So if it is a trusted uncle, a trusted brother, that you know that, okay, this child needs a male figure, or this child needs a female figure, right? Don't, just try to say that there's no need for it. There is definitely a need for it. I've seen it, hands on how, the combination of my nurturing side and my husband's side as well, is equipping like a wholesome, children. So just around this question of, I would say that with God on your side, make sure you equip yourself with the right knowledge, with the right tools, ask questions, look for resources like this that can help. So how did you transition from family of 2 to 3? So when it was happening, it wasn't catching us by surprise. We knew what we were going into. We were ready mentally, we were ready emotionally, we were ready financially as well. And the part where we didn't have it figured out, we spoke to one another and tried to see if there was somebody else that we could speak to that could help us. And we did, and we got advice. And the one that we couldn't get advice, we just said, Holy Spirit, please take control. And God has been amazing, and we're here where we are now. Shindara will be 12 in December, and Dakra will be 12 days after. In fact, I remember that 2 days ago, Mama was saying that there's a book he wants me to read because this month that will be my first book that I'm reading. So the book is parenting, parenting girls. I think that's the title of the book. So I have 2 girls, right? So I've had that book in the library for like maybe 2 years now, but I haven't picked it up and I read. And Mama was like, "Oh, Ren, I think that you should read this book." And I was like, "Okay, that's true. That makes sense." So I'm looking forward to reading that book and taking some lessons from there. So the learning doesn't stop. You continue to learn. My children, when I'm entering into, they're getting to teenagers. One is already a preteen. The other one, so by next year, she'll never be a teenager. I need to be ahead. Understanding what it is to parent a teenage child, right? So I can't just leave it to the world to do that for me. So I have to be prepared. So I think that basically just really being intentional and equipping yourself with the right information. Don't form ignorance. Don't form, this parenting thing, they don't give us manual. You will write your manual by yourself from the different places that you can and customize it to suit your own family. But please, the world, you owe the world parenting your child well. They say that the family unit is the most important, right? In society. Because once a child is well brought up, the chances of vices will definitely reduce. So as a mother and a father, please, we need to do our contribution to society is enormous. Don't just think that, I'm just a parent, I'm just a mother. Like your work, your ministry, in fact, it's a serious matter. Once you see it that way, once you see it that way, you take action.
Responsibility. Thank you, Mama. So the thing is, I see that you it's almost like you got pregnant immediately after wedding, considering the fact that you just celebrated 13 years and then Your
And
first
then
born
like
will
six,
be 12.
7 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm going to ask. I don't know, maybe during your own time, there is this thing of, let's wait, let's not like have children yet until let's enjoy ourselves, let's have a time to ourselves before children start coming in, and some will go as far as, let's just wait for the next 2 years, let's just enjoy ourselves, let's travel the world, let's do this. I don't know if it was rampant during your own time, but I think it is during our own generation. It is very, very on the high side, and I just wanted to ask because I know that the fruit you're producing right now, you actually didn't conceive them right now. Like they are a product of your aspiration, even right from maybe 2 decades ago and all of that. So I want to imagine you getting married and still wanting to, ensure that you pursue your goals, nothing hinders your, ambitions and aspirations. So was it that you were like, oh, we're not because of my, goals and all of that, or because we want to have time together and enjoy ourselves and travel the world, let's not have kids yet, let's wait for a period of time and all of that.
We didn't even want to travel within Lagos. Talking of travel around the world. So that one was not even it was not even on the table. We couldn't even travel around like you said. So anyways, for us, no, so it had been like that since so I know like I'm married 20 years like that, so just ordinary 13 years. Okay, don't let me say
13 years is a lot.
years, right? But for us then, we had decided that we wanted to wait for 1 year before having children. And this was the
Okay.
rationale behind it. We had only dated for about a year before we got married. And in that 1 year, we had only seen ourselves maybe like 3 times because I was doing masters.
Wow.
But when I was starting my master, that's when he asked me out. And then when I finished my masters in the UK, that's when we got married. So we had long distance
Relationship.
right? So when I came back, and we even did the wedding. I think it was only like 6 days after I had to go back to the UK to complete my master. Then I came back a month after. So we're like, we need to get to know one another, because we haven't really just like maybe 3 or 4 times. We haven't really spent time. So before we start adding children to the mix, let's just know one. So the plan was 1 year. Even though my mother was shouting, Emma Drew, don't wait, oh, don't wait. That's how people used to wait. And then 10 years, they are still waiting.
Shout out to mommy.
Do you understand? But I didn't even answer her. But I think that by the 6th month, we're like, okay, let's start trying so that, by the time we now get to 1 year, we know that, okay, that's when. But you know how these things, like, your own calculation is different from God's calculation. So I think we're like, by the time I wanted to try, like 2 months after, that's when I took him. So here we are to the glory of God.
Hallelujah, somebody. Okay, so Mama, looking at it, how did this impact your aspiration and ambition, considering the huge task that comes with having even pregnancy in itself? How was your pregnancy period? The first trimester, the morning sickness, adding that to the fact that you just finished your masters, you're looking to enter into the job market, do great and mighty things. How was it like combining all of this?
So to be honest, like growing up, I was just like an average child, right? Like my studies, I was just average. After I was done with school, I was also average. I just wanted to get a job, be comfortable, get married, have children, two children, and then just rise along, just rise above in my career. Nothing too. I wasn't too aspirational. Like in my say between my 16 and 22, I got married at 22. So at that time, I did not know what I wanted. Do you understand? Like I did not like I wasn't seeing the future so much. However, I just went with the flow. But my aspirations began to, and that's why it's so good. So it's a very big deal. The person that you get married to. So what's like my husband said, oh, you must be aspirational. You must. It's compulsory. But I could tell, like in terms of when we're discussing, okay, what are we going to in the next 5 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years? What are the things that we need to have built together as a couple, as a family? And I was like, 20 years, okay, what happened? In fact, Jesus Christ would not have come back by that 20 years. But that's someone that had great vision, and for some reason, I was able to catch up on that. So my aspirations began to grow, after I had gotten married and after I had my first child. In terms of combining pregnancy with just getting married and with my job, I mean, it was easy. I was working in a consulting firm at the time when I was pregnant, and it was just an easy job. It wasn't something that was extremely strenuous at that time. So when I was done, but before I gave birth to my daughter, I resigned. So I was home till I gave birth to her, and then it was home 3 months after I gave birth to her, which was we gave me time to be able to nurture for her, take care of her, and then later on I now started working in. I then got a job, but the good thing was the job was family business, so I was working in my dad's company, and so that's sort of like so even though it was my dad's company, I was still working hard. I wasn't giving free hand. However, there was structure that I put in place around me that time. So I remember before I get to the office, I'll drop my daughter and the nanny in my mom's house, because my mom's house was about 10 minutes away from the office. And then even in the office as well, my grandparents live, on the factory where my dad's company is. So even if I don't drop my daughter with my parents, I can drop her with my grandparents and just walk like 10 seconds to go and see her. So that period wasn't so stressful. So, and I'm really grateful for that.
How you navigate? I don't know if during the period of childbirth and all, were you working?
Yes.
How did you navigate childcare alongside with balancing your marriage in terms of okay, so some people would say when they got married and they start having kids, there's a way it impacts their relationship with their partner because a third party is now in, and then the whole attention, because children can so much take all of the attention. And also, how did you balance that alongside with childcare, balancing it with your career?
I think also that's very important for you to have, armed yourself with knowledge and information, right? So in one of the books that I've read, or one of the YouTube videos that I must have watched, must have talked about how you have to be intentional about ensuring that your relationship with your spouse still, try to be intentional about it, especially when the child comes, because there's a tendency that, the father can be neglected because the mother is trying to focus on the baby. So we try to do things together, right? So my husband was very hands-on. Oh, hey babe, can you bake for Shindara? He would bake for her. Hey babe, can you, dress her up? Can you feed her? In fact, he was even, I feel like apart from breastfeeding, he did almost every other thing. So we used to like share responsibilities, and that way we were bonding together. So it wasn't like mama was just in the living room watching TV, and then me I was doing all the work. We're doing it together, right? So if he was maybe taking care of her, maybe I'm in the kitchen. And I also remember that there were weekends, because I would work Monday to Friday, my 9 to 5. Then weekends, that's what, because I was also starting my business the same year I gave birth to Shindara. So weekends, I would have to like walk, go to market to go and source for interior things. My husband was one that would be home alone with our daughter, taking care of her, bathing her, dressing for her, feeding her all the time from morning to night till I come back. He was hands-on. So by the time I come back, I take over, we gist, we talk, and then we sort of like repeat that. So we were both because we were both very involved. It was easy for us, not to neglect one another. And I was very intentional because I'd read it that your husband can feel left alone, and so we sort of like tried our best. It wasn't the easiest. Obviously, you can't compare it to when there was no child, but there was always a way. We knew that we would make the best of this season, and then there'll be times where the children don't depend on us like that anymore, aka now, right? So,
Now.
yeah, exactly. So that's how that works for us.
And I think this also speaks to the kind of person that one marries. I think the way motherhood is going to tell on you would be based on the kind of person that you marry, because you just capitalized it on marrying a kind man, somebody that is willing to do this whole fatherhood and motherhood alongside. Because if not, I couldn't have imagined. That means you probably have had to like probably pause on some things because you have to be there for her.
Yes. So I'm so grateful for that. I didn't have to pause my career, pause my business because I was having a child, or I just had a child. My partner was gracious enough to hold my hand, and we did it together. So it was easy because he also was in career as well. You can't ask him to stop his career because he's
Definitely.
if he can't, then I'm sure there's a way we can work around it. That's the both of us. We found both of us we needed the two incomes anyway, so we had to make it work.
Okay, so looking at it, you got married really early, like some people would say. And what would you say if you're going to look at it, advantage and the disadvantage? What would you say outweighs each other? I think I already know the answer, but just for people that might just be listening, oh no, 22, I'm just coming to life. I still have to do some things. Marriage can really just put you in one tight corner. I want to like, what would you say to that?
So let me start with the vain points. So one of the vain things that I love about getting married, that I'm happy that I got married early, is the fact that now my daughter is almost my height. And when we go out, some people are asking whether we are sisters. I'm like, yeah, my sister. She likes it. Yeah, that's my sister. So, but that's just a vain part.
I love it.
Yeah. However, would I advise it? I don't know if I can advise it. I would only on one condition that I would advise getting married at early. If your partner, especially as a lady, if your partner is responsible, your partner is your person, that's when I would recommend it. However, if the person is, I would say, take your time, understand yourself. For me, what happened was I began to know myself more in the marriage. So in between when my husband met me and now, there's been a lot of changes. Like change. My husband used to say that, if he married me now, if it was me now that he married that time, he was a different person from that time now. So I'm grateful to my husband because in my period of changing, he was changing with me as well, right? But so imagine that I'm changing, I'm becoming this, I'm blossoming, I'm becoming this, beautiful blooming flower. And my husband's like, wait, what's happening here? Like, the person I got married to, there will be problem, right?
Very
so
true.
you need to. So for me, that's what I would just say. And when I was 22, I was very naive, right? Very, very extremely naive. And if anything, if I was to just advise, I'll just say, even if you're going to get married very early, please make sure that you learn as much as you can. Don't just enter into the marriage only with love, 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 love in your eyes, right? Ensure that, because marriage is intentional work, marriage is hard work. So you need to ensure that you're prepared for it. So yeah.
But you would actually like if you're going to choose again, would you choose getting married early?
Yes, I will. Definitely.
I so much love it for you because
Definitely.
I remember when you and Shindara went on a trip when she was 10. I can remember, and I was just like, "Hey, God, when?"
Like I so much love it. Like I look forward to recreating something like that, and even much more because your life is so full of lessons and example
Thank
that one can easily channel one's life towards. And I really appreciate that, and even the privilege to know you, to be doing this with you. So, Mama, if you look at it, a lot of people feel children can really be a burden,
you.
and not many people can really, because looking at you, the time that you started your company was the same time that you were still in this old motherhood thing. What were like the maybe three things that you would say helped you during that period
Mm.
that you
So
can
first
really
off,
point to? Yeah.
so first off, will be having the right people, right? Your stakeholders. So, like I said, like for in my own instance, it was my spouse, and then I also support system basically,
Mm.
a support system. So whether it is having a child and working, or whatever it is that you're doing, I always plan to have support systems in everything that I do, right? So my grow already mentorship program, I have support system. My business Okantik, there's support system. But I understand that now I can afford those resources. But back then, when the resources were limited, I had to count on my support system that were not paid, voluntary support system. One was paid, one was not paid. My husband obviously not paid, so he supported me, and then we're able to join forces to get a help. So at first, we just had one person that would come once a week to come and clean, right? And then what then happened was, because I was now working in my dad's company, right? And my parents' house was like maybe like 10-15 minutes away from my from the office. So on my way, I would drop my daughter with my mom. My mom would take her
Wow.
to a shop, or my mom would take her to wherever she's going to. Since she had help in the house, she had someone that was, helping her. So it was easy. So I'll just quickly drop her, go to the office. Then from the office, I will come back, pick her up, or maybe pick her up at my mom's shop or something. And then we'll go home. By the time I get home, it's me and my husband again, doing just supporting one another. And then
Mm.
later on, we're able to get somebody that would come, go and come morning, go in the morning, come in the morning, go in the evening,
Good
but
evening.
just Monday to Friday. And then later on, as our schedules began to get busier, but our finances began to go higher, we could
Mm.
then, get somebody that was live in, and she's been with us for 9 years now. So
Wow.
she's been a great support. In fact, she was here before I gave birth to Deborah. So as soon as I gave birth to Deborah as a baby, I just handed her over to her, and she was able, because of that, I was able to you know, focus on my business, focus on other things as well, because I had great support. So I would say your support system is very, very important, right? The second will be putting structure and systems in place. Whether you have children now or you don't, put systems and structures in place such that you have time for the most important things. So
Mm.
because I do a lot of things, when I have an assignment, when I have something that I'm doing, I'm already thinking about my who will be running those things. Now, one
Mm.
of my strengths is that I'm a beginner, I'm a starter, but I'm not necessarily a finisher. So I'm very gingered, I'm very pumped when I'm about to start something. I will ginger everybody, will start. When we get to the middle, I'm already getting bored. I want to get on to the next thing. But I have people on my team that are finishers. So I'll just hand them over to them. I'll just hand it over to them, and they carry on with the vision. But because I'm the face of it, you think that I'm still the one that is doing it every
Mm.
day. No. But that's because I've understood myself, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to get this thing done? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? There's no point trying to, just play on my weakness. I'll just be frustrated. So I've been able to play on my strengths and then outsource my weaknesses. So you also need to understand, what your strengths are, and then try to sort of like put structure and system in place. So the structure and system in place, when you see me traveling, you think, wow, this woman, she's just enjoying herself. There's already system and structure in place in the home, right? My office as well, like I was telling them this morning, that every day when I wake up in the morning, the way I've structured my business, I wake up in the morning, I feel like I don't have anything to do, because everybody has their job roles, everybody's delivering on their job roles. So after I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, if I'm not careful, these people, they'll kick me out of my company. Not like that, but in a good way, right? But that's very intentional, because from like 6-7 years ago, I've been working towards building systems in the organization, such that as you have come in now to come and speak here, right, I have the time to do that. When I'm done now, I jump into another meeting, my final meeting for the day, and then I have time for my family, for my children, for my husband. Once it's 5 like that, 5 p.m., I try not to take anything, so that I can focus. Me my husband can bond, you can bond with the children. But if I not put systems and structures in place, maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, clients can be calling me. Oh, madam, you have not this. The tap is not working. I'm like, what's the business with tap? Like, there are people that in the organization that will handle it. But guess what? If I did not put systems and structures in place, it's me that will be doing it. That
Very
time
true.
that I'm supposed to be using for other personal things that I enjoy, even if it's just to sleep, I won't have it. So put structures and systems in place. And then thirdly, I would say that try to get as much counsel as you can get. I keep saying this counsel thing. It's very, very important. Don't be ashamed. Like, have no shame. Ask, ask, ask. There's some people that you are older than, but they are older than you in terms of experience. Ask them, humble yourself, ask them for help. Ask them. There are people that do things. There's sometimes that you're doing something, you feel that you're doing this thing well. But then somebody does this and then they're able to do that thing better than you, even in less time. So maybe there's a way you cook your beans, and that your beans will take you 3 hours to cook it. Somebody else can have the same, can do the same thing for 1 hour. Ask them, what did you do? What are you doing that you're always making? Because those 2 hours, you can be using it for something else. So try to learn from people, and I always love peer-to-peer mentoring, like, learning from your mates, because sometimes learning from your mentors, people that are ahead of you, really good, really amazing. But sometimes, like, how often do you get access to them? They are also very busy people, and there's always just that, okay, um, and to be careful. But with your mates, you'll be shocked and surprised that some of the things that you learn from your mentors, some of your mates know them, because you've
Very
also
true.
interacted with different people in their circle of influence, either through their mother or their auntie that has ancient wisdom that has deposited in them, and then you can pick from them. So never despise the mentoring that you can get from your peers. Extremely important. There's certain things that right now, like, if I have trouble or challenge in, I won't think of my mentor first. I'll think about some of my very close friends and ask them, have you gone through this thing before? Please, I need help. It's when they cannot now help me, then I now remember, okay, let me go ask my mentor. My mentor might have gone through this experience before. But usually my go-to first is my peer, because they're easier to connect with,
Connect
contact,
with.
and you'll be shocked that sometimes your mentor will even know the answer, but your peer who knows the answer might even know a better way, because, hey, Gen Z, millennials, technology, we have it to our advantage. So the old way that your mentor might be doing something which is right, is correct, somebody else can teach. Just like now, maybe now you want to learn how to pound yam. Of course, your mentor maybe you say, okay, take mortar, take stew, this is how you pound it. But your mate can say, let's use butcher mix. There's a way we can use butcher mix blender. It will give us the same pounded yam, but in a less effective way, and it will still be bona fide.
Very
Do
true.
you understand? So things like that, like, you'll be shocked that your peers, they know things, and then they even know how to, like, get it, even make it even better and
What's that?
swifter, right? So yeah, so those are the three things that I'll just mention.
Thank you, Mama. So you mentioned earlier when I was asking about, okay, some people that want to probably do vacation at the beginning of their marriage, and you mentioned something about, oh, we couldn't even travel. That now made me remember one of your posts. If I think it was probably 2 years ago. I don't think it's up to 3 years, but I think probably 2 years ago when you traveled to, I think, Maldives with your husband, and you posted on your, I've been following you since,
You can
and you
tell.
posted on your Instagram page about the
Yes.
fact that I think you desired it for your honeymoon, but it didn't happen, and now it is happening. I think it was your 10th anniversary. I can't remember
Yes. So
correctly
that
now.
anniversary,
And
yes.
I could remember that I now thought about it. I said, looking at it then and now, the story is clearly different.
Mm,
But for people, there are actually people in that space right now that are in your past, where you
mm,
were probably
mm,
10 years ago or 13 years ago, and they're feeling like, oh, this guy is not, we're supposed to, my mates are traveling this, my these are traveling that. I just want you to speak to that, because I understand that seasons are different and seasons change, but a lot of people in my generation find it difficult to understand the fact that, okay, the season we are in now, we cannot afford Maldives, but we can afford Majuguri, or we cannot afford Zanzibar, but we can afford, probably Ziba Resort, something within our means. And a lot of people still find it difficult to adjust to that. I just wanted to speak on it and using your own story as an example.
okay, so first of all, I think that at the end of the day, it depends on how content we are as human beings and also understanding perspective, right? So, for example, I'm a very content person, but at the same time, I have a thin line between being content and being very driven, because you also don't want to be like a Jessica, just take
Very
things
true.
just as they come by. So I'm content, but at the same time, I'm a goal oriented person. So when we were just starting and we couldn't afford for us to go to Maldives at that time, in my head I was like, this is just year one. If I'm married to this person with the idea of living forever with this person, then we have so much time ahead of us that we can do all of these things. It's just a matter of being patient and growing with one another and knowing that that day will come. So if that day has come, that day has even passed now. Like we are counting 2 years, we're already entering, going to the third year since. Because it wasn't even exactly in 10 years that we went to the Maldives. It was like 10 years and 6 months. So I remember my husband had just gotten a new job, so he couldn't even we couldn't live on our anniversary, so we had to still extend it. So in my mind that time I was like, if I waited 10 years, I can wait another 6 months, no problem. And guess what? I waited it. We waited it, we went, we came back. Now 2 years has even
Is
passed.
history.
You understand? And there are many other
Mhm.
travels that we've had and we will still have. So it's
Mm.
just really looking at it and saying that okay, the most important thing is that okay, why do we even want to travel? Is it that I want to go and pepper people and say, oh, I went to Maldives? Or is it that we just want to go and rest? If the goal is to rest, there are many places that you can go and rest. It doesn't have to be Maldives. For us, it was just a destination. Okay, now we can afford it. Let's go, let's explore. But at the
Let's take it.
time, like you said, Ziba, if you're not going to Zanzibar, Ziba is a perfect. In fact, Ziba gone is too much for some people. It's too much. Some
Yes,
people,
so
no, but what it's just let us just stay in our room or maybe go to a nice guest house, spend 2 or 3 nights away from the
I'll
house
come
and come
back.
back home. Do you understand? Or go to the beach or something. Find happiness and joy in every season. Remove money. There are many people that have money, but they are not happy. They are not enjoying. They are not, money. Like money is just a tool. So do not allow it to, sway you. Instead, you are the one that will control money. Don't allow money to
Mm,
control you. So
mm,
saying all of that, understanding that, okay, my husband or myself, I cannot afford. We can't afford to go to this place right now, but because we're going to spend 40, 50, 60, 70 years together, right? We will definitely there will definitely be times where we're going to afford this, and we will not, it won't be a thing of the past that we will
Mm.
not even afford. So that's just basically. So as a young person right now, your goal right now, especially if you're just building together, except your father is a billionaire or millionaire and they gift it to you, which is fine, it's okay. Take it, go
Mm.
enjoy yourself and come back. But guess what? Not many 25-year-olds can afford like a 10 million, 15 million naira trip. Let's be honest with
Definitely.
ourselves. If you are starting life, you just finish university, you're just building your career. Where do you want to amass all that money from? Except if you are yahoo yahoo. And if your husband is not from a rich family and the person is just starting work and the person is bringing that kind of money, you shouldn't be questioning that. Where did you see this money
Yeah.
from? Are you sure? Yes, to
We
not
are
chasing
not
us
spending from
money.
our future
Alright,
already.
exactly. Do you understand? There's some at that
Yes,
point,
Mama.
even when my husband was going to say, okay, Renny, I know that you're from a rich home, all of that, I cannot afford this, maybe I should take this money. I said, which money? You want to start eating? So we should crack that joke that let's not eat tomorrow's money today. If not, we'll be hungry
Mm.
tomorrow. Do you understand? So,
Mm.
so those are the principles that has helped us today, and we are grateful for it.
Yeah.
Now, I can wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm angry with Lagos. I want to quickly get to London. I'll carry my passport
The
now
way.
and I'll move. But that was not my story 13 years ago, right? So,
Mm.
and I've
You've paid your
grown.
dues.
I've paid, sister. I'm still paying it to, but I've paid certain dues already. I've paid your money,
Mm-hmm.
I've paid them already. So when they see me coming, they just say, "Hey, Charlie,
Mm.
Mama," and they allow me to pass. Me too, I know that
Enter,
yes,
enter, enter.
I enter, enter, enter. So if somebody is seeing me now and they say, yeah, Morenike, when you're always traveling, you're always me. I don't used to buy gold. I don't. There's something I don't buy. Like, so my money is only for enjoyment. Do you understand? Like my money, any money where I see like this, my enjoyment. So
Premium.
that's my own. My enjoyment and doing good work, doing the Lord's work.
Mm.
That's that's
Mm.
that's made for you. Do you understand? Like this earring I'm wearing now, where I don't know whether it's 3,000, 4,000. I don't care. You hardly see me wear necklace, all those. That, in fact, the other day I was just with my husband. I was like, "What can they buy? What can they buy for you that will make you jump?" And I said, "There's nothing. I just love experiences, right? So I will take my
Mm.
money, and that's what I will do." But at the time, it wasn't like that. I mellowed myself. I'll probably just go and see a movie because I love experiences. So I'll probably go and see a movie. How much is more? Movie that maybe 2K, 3K. Buy popcorn, watch movie, be happy, go home. Or I go to a nice restaurant, eat, be happy, go home. Or I go to the spa, they press my body, press my body, press my body. I'm happy, I go home. So in every season, trust me, you always find something that would work, right? So be
Mm.
content, and also understand the terms and seasons. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think I have just two more questions to go and then we'll call it a day. So the first one is going to be motherhood actually requires a lot of sacrifice.
Mm,
And when I'm even talking about sacrifice, I'm talking about body, like
mm,
our body as women,
yeah.
because I remember before I got married,
Mm,
I was on a weight loss journey. I lost over 30 kg
wow.
with so much hard work and all of that. And the day I was, as at the time I was getting, I could even remember during our honeymoon, we were at a particular place and I checked my weight and I was weighing 90 kg. And now that I've given birth, 9 months after, I'm currently weighing 115 kg.
Mm,
And I'm saying all of this to talk about you because I remember when you started your weight loss and with the way you were before and when you celebrated a particular milestone about hitting your weight loss goal. And even I can remember during the beginning of the year you started a daily walk. I can
mm.
remember even when you traveled and all of that, you were still ensuring that you hit your goal and all of that. And
Follow
looking
me
at
too.
where I follow you, and I could not remember when where you were before now and where
Mm,
you are right now. You are definitely not where you used to be
mm,
postpartum and now. I know that that would have taken so much sacrifice from you, and I just wanted to speak to it because I know people that would say, "Oh, because of this weight thing, I don't want to do babies because of the weight and the sacrifice." And there are even some people who have gained the weight now. They've given birth to the child, and they are finding it difficult to get back to what they used to do before. They are finding it difficult to get that body back. They are so much pressurized. Some are even pressurized by their partners on, oh, this was not the person I married, look at you now. And I also want you to speak on the sacrifice that it took you and the commitment that brought you to where you are right now, because it's a
Okay,
proof that
so
it is possible.
yeah, no, no, so it's possible. So for me, when I had like when I first had my first child, I bounced back immediately. Like I snapped back immediately. In fact, when I had my second, I snapped back again immediately. But then I think when that ride became maybe like three or maybe like four or so, I started gaining weight. So I don't know if it was maybe from pressure of work and pressure, I think it was work because sometimes I will not eat all day, then I'll get home, I'm hungry, around 9, 10, I'm eating a bar, I'm drinking Coke, I'm, having all of that. So I started adding weight. And I didn't even know that I'd added, you know how this weight will just be creeping up on you small, 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 small. So one day you just become like, how did all of this happen? So it was one day I went to the pharmacy. Like I remember January of 2022. I had gone to the pharmacy. I wanted to buy drugs for my daughter, and then there were these two young ladies. They were, trying to weigh themselves. So one who climbed the scale, maybe she was like 65 or so. She was like, "Oh my God, I've added so much weight." Yeah, I was still minding my business. I was trying to pay for my drugs. The second one climbed on it. So like, oh my God, 58. Oh wow. I need to really, really, cut down on chemical. Like what's on these ones? And and I've not checked my weight in like 2 years or so before that time. I said, okay, let me just step on this scale low. God no go shame also. I just climbed on it like this. I saw 99. And this was me that I used to be in the range of 70s. And I those two girls, they just say, and you don't look it. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, it's not you people's fault. So people are even complaining that you're 60 something, you're fat. I said, okay, you know what? So right there and then I was like 99. I was like, no, I don't want to, like if that is 1 more kg like this, I'll enter 3 digits. I said I don't want. And so I think that it comes from that determination. Once you just determine that
Mm.
okay, like it was maybe before that I was like, oh, I want to lose it, I want to lose it. I might not have put so much serious effort to it. But at that point, there was just something that I had a why. Right. And that's one thing. Like once you have a why, okay, why do I want to lose weight? And you need to be you need to be extremely determined to for your why. So immediately the next day I went to register at the gym. I'd never gone to the gym before in my life at that point. So I said, okay, you know what? And within like 5 months or so I lost about 20 kg, right? So,
Yeah.
but obviously with the weight loss, I will lose, I will add some weight. If right now, so I stopped. I wasn't going to gym for like 3 months. I think between May and I just resumed back like last month. I've added some weight back, but I'm not even worried because I know that it's a lifestyle. Like I will get on
Mhm.
it. I'll apportion my food, and then it also just so the more I did it, the more I saw the advantage in it, right? And I was like, oh okay, this feels good, this looks good, and just just having to shed off weight and knowing that okay, it helps me sleep better. Even with my period I realized that it helps my period. Before I used to bleed for like 7 days, when I'm on my menstrual cycle, but now like 3 4 days, I mean I have every flow, but it has helped me. So I see all the so now that I see all the
Benefit.
advantages, the benefits, I'm like, okay, I want this. And when you're seeing people like Kate Enshaw that at 50 something, they are looking like 20 something year olds. I'm like, okay, they've been putting in the work since. Not like
Mm.
they just wake up. So I said to myself that, okay, I will never stop this, lifestyle, like going to the gym, eating healthy, because it might look cool now, but when I will really, really appreciate it is when I'm in my 50s, in my 60s,
Yeah.
right? So I'm working. So for me, that's my why. I'm working
Motivation.
towards it. That's my motivation. I'm working towards. I said that by the time I'm doing wedding vow renewal, whether for our 18th anniversary or our 20th anniversary, I want them to be asking Shinda and Ida, sorry, who is the Who is the mother
Who
here?
is the bride?
Who is the bride here? Do you understand? That's a motivation, no. So she should better watch out because by that time,
Mm,
like 17, either 17 or she either be 17 or she either be 19. So obviously, we should be looking the same age. So for me, and then it gives you you feel healthier. For the
mm,
assignments that God has given to us rather, we need to be healthy to be able to carry them out. It won't be good that God gives us an assignment, but every time you're falling sick because of the weight that is on
wait.
us, right?
Mm,
So yeah, but the thing is that it's can you can do it, right?
yeah.
So if you feel like okay, where do I start from? Just start. Anytime I hear that thing, where do I start? Just start. Don't worry. Just like if you are going to walk from here to your estate gates, you shall start. It's from one step. That one step seems like one step compared to the entire journey is very tiny, very minute. It looks
Mm,
almost insignificant. But is that consistency? Okay, another step, another step, another step, another step. Before you know what's happening, you already got to where you're going to. So
mm,
think about just the now, and then start from there. So some mornings that I don't feel like going to the gym, to be honest. But my mind, I'm like, you know what, just wake up. There's this thing that they call the 3 second rule. You just count 1, 2, 3 to your head and go. Okay, I don't want to stand up from my bed. 1, 2, 3, and then you stand up and you just do it. Oh, I don't want to open this book. 1, 2, 3, and just open the book. Like, just do it, basically. Like, just count in your head and just do it. And before you know what's happening, you're on the right path.
Thank you so much for that. I think this is actually it. Whatever it is that you need in your weight loss journey, for everyone listening to this, know that you can do it.
Yes,
If
definitely.
you can do it with your
Mhm.
busy schedule and everything, I believe we all can be intentional about it and do it. So
Yeah.
the last question is going to be about you evolving. Like I've
Mm.
been following you for a while, and I must confess I've seen you evolve from
Mm.
one level of assignment to another, from especially from the time that you became more intentional about your Instagram post and everything, up to the point where currently you are now influencing alongside with your business, your company, alongside with family. It has been from one level of success to another. And I really thank God for that, for you and your family, sincerely. Because I also remember a particular testimony that Mr. Molehin shared during the Grow with Training Conference 2.0. He mentioned like there was a time that you both had a particular car that was always breaking down, that even one broke down on Third Milan Bridge and all of that. And like, look at it today. So I just wanted to speak to a young person, probably somebody who is currently 22, and she's thinking, oh, I don't even know what to do. I've tried this, it's not working. I've tried that, it's not working. Or I want to be this, I want to be that. Because a number of people are looking at you right now, but so many of them are failing to look at the you 22 years ago, when they were you 22, or how do I put it now?
How they
They
are
are
now when
currently
I was
22.
maybe
So they are looking at you now. They were not looking at the 22 you,
22 versions,
and
yeah.
putting so much pressure on themselves. Oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. If you know, Grow with Rennie can be this big, the conference and everything. No, because I noticed the conference is just, this is just 2.0.
Mm.
And looking at the so much greatness that has come with it, and even the fact that you're now having it in other countries, it's mind-blowing. But a lot of people forget the you 22 years ago, or you when you were 22 years rather. I just wanted to speak to that, to the fact that you mentioned a particular word when we started. You mentioned the word blossoming.
Mm.
I just want you to speak to that, especially for someone that is currently 22 and wondering, I don't even have a boyfriend, not to talk of getting married, this and this and this and this. And I just want you to speak to that. It will definitely
Yeah.
encourage someone.
So, for me, I think that where you are at now, you need to make a decision that you want to be great, or you make the decision I want to be successful, and you have to define what success means to you, right? So what success means to me is different from what success means to Kemi. It's different from what it means to Sade or Femi or Buki. We all have so, but don't define So don't define success based off on generally what the world says. If not, you will never feel fulfilled, right? So what does success mean to you? And once you've been able to write that down, right? So like I told you earlier, when my husband used to do, let's look at what will be in 5 years, 20 years. I'm like, 20 years, okay. I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what I want to be in the next by next week. I don't even know. But with having been married to him for like 13 years now, that's how I now think, right? So I'm now thinking, okay, so for example, I have this thing that, okay, on my 70th birthday, when my family, when we were having like a birthday party in honor of me, and people are asked to come and talk about their experience with me, the thing that I've written down that I want to achieve between now and 70, people must say it. It must be consistent. So, hey, Morenike was, or Morenike is a philanthropist. Let's just use philanthropy for it. Morenike is a philanthropist, right? Or the philanthropist rather.
Trophies.
And but it's not when I'm 70 then I now realize that, I want to be a philanthropist, and then begin to start doing it's from now that I'll be doing those things. And if I want people to say that I'm not saying that I'm doing things because I want people to, I'm just saying that I'm going to do things, and then when things that I want, that when the people just decide that they want to talk about me is consistent with the thing that I have written, then at that point I know that I have succeeded, because the things that I wanted to, the thing I want to achieve, the thing that I want to highlight in my life is so bright that people can catch it, right? So whether they even know or not, that's their business. But there's no way you would be intentional about something that it will not shine through and people will not see.
Very true.
So by the time I'm 70, there are certain things that I want to have achieved. And so if somebody is saying, at my 70th birthday, Morenike is that, I want them to be able to mention those things that are in my list. Right? So it means that I'm going to be intentional from today about it. So this daily thing. So by the time I'm 70, right, I want to have influenced over 10 million lives at that time. So Glory Rennie, where are we now? Okay, we have influenced about maybe like 20,000 people. Okay, no problem. The journey is continuing. Maybe by the time I'm 40, it have entered 100,000. By the time I'm 50, and at some point it begins to compound. So it just begins to escalate astronomically. So I would say that understand that, and also know that your 20s is the year where you really dig deep, you your roots, right? This is when you build, and you make sure that your foundation is solid, is tight. Because by the time you're in your 30s, you now begin to eat the fruits of those things that you have planted in your 20s. So if you just plant, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Plant, I'm not good enough. Plant, those are the things that you now reap in your 30s, right? Because whether you like it or not, time will pass anyways. So that time right now that you have, please use it so well, like maximize it so much. You might not earn so much from it right now, but guess what? By the time you get into your 30s, into your 40s, like it will just, people will ask me that, where did you, when people are asking me that, how did you just surface like that? I said, I've been working since, like, because if you just met me, if you just knew about me last year, it should just seem as if I just came from nowhere. But people that, like, for example, now you just mentioned about Glory Rainy, the second one, it was to God's glory, it was big.
Mind blowing.
But it was one time that my bestie and I were talking, and we're just talking, and she just mentioned, I think we're talking about a speaker, and she was at Complete Woman Conference like 6 7 years ago. She was not like, Omo, Rennie, you don't dey do conference, you don't take. So I used to do conference before, like I was the convener of the Complete Woman Conference. That time I think maybe I started remembering that when I was like 25 or something, and it was
Oh,
under church. My husband was the pastor. So for ladies, I used to organize like ladies conference. We had like Tara Felajotori come. We had like those series. We had Pastor Nomti come, Pastor Gideon, Pastor Christy
um,
Bature. We even had the IMAX one time. I think that was 2019 or 2018. I can't remember. Or 2020. I can't remember. Sha, it was so before I now stopped. Then later on, I now got reassigned to go with Rennie. But if you're looking
Mm.
at me, you think that, oh, I just started with Guru Rainy. But I've done conference. I've done like over 6 or 7 conferences in the past, right? But then those were my learning. I've learned like there are
Mm.
many things right now that is happening in Guru Rainy that it seems like, oh my god, this thing seems well put together. It's perfect. It's coordinated. It's organized. It's coming from experiences from
Mm. The
before,
previous years.
from previous years. So you will not escape it. You will walk that walk. But the earlier
Mm.
you start working it, the
The
better.
better.
I always say now, so my business, for example, is 11 years to God's glory. If 11 years ago I was procrastinating, that, you know what? I need to have done certain things before I can start. I need to be perfect before I start, and then I'm just shifting it. I'm doing myself a disservice because guess
Mm.
what? There's some projects right now that we only get because of our years of experience. So imagine
Mm.
if I had just procrastinated and at the end of the day and I started 5 years ago. It means that 5 years ago, between 5 years ago and now, I just have 6 years of experience. But then there's a project
Mm.
that comes and they say you must have a minimum of 10 years. Now, I don't have the 10 years, so that opportunity
Very
goes
true.
too low. Meanwhile, I could have started it 11 years ago, but I was just giving myself different excuses. That time, did it not pass? The time
Of
passed.
course, it did.
Because there are sometimes, like, there was a time when my husband wanted to do MBA 2 years and it was working as well. It was going to be extremely tedious for him, and it was like 2 years. Or more. Where will I find this time? But just do it, just do it, because whether you like it or not, the time will pass, and you will not stop working. You will continue working, like you will keep
Mm.
working. Do you understand? And he did the
Mm.
masters. He finished it. Now it's been 4 years. I'll be going to 5 years now that I finished that master's. But during that time, it seemed like, oh my god, like when will this thing end? So that's how it always feels like. But guess what? The more you're
Mm.
putting brick by when you are building a skyscraper, the
Mm-hmm.
skyscraper does not just show up. They
Imagine.
start from foundation, they do so much work, and then it's just that little brick by brick, mortar by mortar. Do not, and that's what the Bible said, do not despise the days of little beginnings.
At your beginning.
Don't look at it with small eye. That little beginning is a big deal, right? So you
Mm.
just tell yourself that okay, my mates have gone ahead. Forget. The race is not to the swift.
To the
So some people that
swift.
they have a
Mm.
early head start. Early head start, I won't lie to you, is great. I have the advantage of a early head start. There's some people that have early head starts, but they don't have continuity. Some
Mm.
people, they might catch up maybe in the middle of their years. Everybody just has their own different ways that they will blossom. Just know that okay, this is where I am. I take audit of your life. Be truthful. That, okay, where am I right now? Where do I want to head to? So maybe if you are living in you are no longer in Nigeria with us. If you are living in Ikeja and you know that okay, I want to go to Lekki, you know that you know your current situation where you are at. You can't lie to yourself that I'm in London, I want to go to Lekki. You are in Ikeja, right? You tell yourself, you are aware, you are self-aware that you are in Ikeja. Okay,
Mm.
I want to get to Lekki. How do I get to Lekki? Do I have the resources to have my own car to get me to Lekki? If I don't have my resources, okay, I don't have resources, I don't have a car. Do I have resources to use Uber? Okay, I don't
Mm.
have Uber. Can I enter bus? I will enter bus. But guess what? We get to that Lekki. So somebody that has their
Mm.
own car might get there in 1 hour. You that you don't have the resource, you might use maybe 2 hours because you have to stop at a bus stop, wait for another bus. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? You will get there. By the time both of you get to Lekki, you people will shake hands, you people will greet yourself, you've got to your destination, right?
True.
Did you get there? You got there, but you not get there. Have you gone to a place before and they're like, "Oh, hi, Kemi, you're welcome. How did you get here? Did you get here by bus or did you get here by car?" Nobody's going to ask you that. Nobody,
Not at
nobody
all.
cares. Nobody's going to ask you that. The most important thing is that you got there.
You are here.
That's it. You are here, and you are here, right? So don't
Mm.
even think about, oh, I don't have this. Like whatever I would say, strategy. Hey, don't let me mess this up. Strategy is, having available resources. How does he put it? I forgot how it puts it, but the main point is that you have a goal. The available resources that you have, make sure that you maximize it to reach your goal. Now, two different people might have the same goal, but they will have different resources. The most important is do not look down on your resource, and that's why in the Bible, the parable of talents, the master was extremely upset with the one that had one and went to bury it. Because guess what? If he had multiplied that one, it would turn to two. When you have two, you multiply it again, it's turned to four. You multiply it, turn to 8. You multiply it, turn to 16. You multiply it, turn to 32. You multiply it, turn to 64. 120 something. Before you know what's happening, you're already in your thousands, your millions, just from that one. But if you look at it and you give yourself complex, you have complex issues, you have low self-esteem, and like, oh, it's just one, then it should just be one to you, right? So take your one, take your five, and start with it and just begin to just go. I can promise you that if you make the right consistent decisions, if you don't make it in life, come and meet me. I'll give you something, but it's not funny. That's how guaranteed it is. There's no way you would definitely, you definitely blossom, definitely. And I
It
wish
has
this
worked for you,
everybody.
so I'm very sure it's strategy that
It's
works.
it will. That's why I said the right and to be honest, like do not take for granted support systems. Putting system of structure in place. I know that it would have been more difficult for me if I didn't have a supportive partner. Will I still have achieved what I want to achieve? Yes, but I might not have achieved it at the time when I want to achieve it, or it would have been more difficult, right? However, it's just better. But if you're even single, there are things that definitely that you can work things out yourself. It's just that it's just better if you have a partner, just like in organizations as well. An organization that has one staff and an organization that has five staff, the difference
The
would
result
be
is
more. So
different.
just having, and that's why the Bible says one will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000. You see,
10,000.
that math is not mathing, because if one is chasing
At
1,000,
all.
two should be chasing 2,000. But then God is saying that two will chase 10,000. If you think about it very well, you know that there is a compounding this when you
Factor.
have like serious support system. So don't form, oh, I'm bad over myself, I can handle this. Please. Superwoman is not about doing everything by herself. Superwoman is about getting the job done.
Done.
And the true test of a leader or someone that is, that
An
has
achiever.
an achiever is in the ability to have people help them carry out their vision and succeed in it.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
it.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Mama, for agreeing to do this and for not holding back at all. If there's anything I've known about you from last year when I invited you to speak on maximizing your 20s, and even right now that you're speaking with the large audience, I can tell that you don't hold back. And I think that is one thing about you that I love so much. The fact that you are willing to see other people succeed because you have done it, you've seen possibilities and you're showing that possibilities to others. And there is nothing more that anyone can give to you than somebody that is actually showing you possibilities. It's a proof that you can be what they are and even much more. So I really do appreciate you for that. Thank you so much for doing this, even with your busy schedule. I really do appreciate that. I don't take your gift for granted. Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Ma.
Thank you so much. I'm telling to greet Oga or tell him thank you. We see all the things that he's helping us to do. We appreciate him. God bless him. We say thank you.
Amen. Thank you so